Welcome back to another episode of the Fearless Fictioneering League. We're here to write in great quantity without fear or expectation. We're here for the love of writing. I'm Any Pin, but you can call me Penny if you wish. I'm not a professional writer, and I probably never will be, but I am an enthusiastic writer, and I have plenty of enthusiasm to share with you. Since we're trying to be fearless fictioneers, we should probably address one of the most common fears a writer has, the fear of the blank page. And I should clarify for new writers, the blank page is not a blank piece of paper or a fresh page in your journal. It actually encompasses so much more. It's an amalgamation of fears, anxieties, and insecurities that include, but are not limited to, the fear of failure, fear of what others will think, pressure to be perfect, self-doubt, maybe you feel like you don't have anything worthwhile to say or write, being overwhelmed by possibilities, afraid of making the wrong choices, not knowing where to start, and the list can go on and on. You can feel one or all of these fears or insecurities, and they all have one thing in common. Each one can have power in the battleground of our minds, if we let them. They aren't real or tangible, they can't touch us or hurt us, but they can loom large in our subconscious. So what can we do to fight against the fear of the blank page? If you're dealing with fear of failure or perfectionism, I would say the first step is accepting that first drafts are allowed to be terrible, really awful. And the second step is realizing that the first draft isn't static or set in stone. It is changeable. You can add or subtract or refine as much as you need. You're not stuck with the first thing you've written down. I think our first drafts should be approached like an exploration. You make plans, gather provisions, and you take a brave first step into the unknown. So I want you to try to reframe the experience as exciting rather than scary. And we can joyfully acknowledge that any mistakes we make are not permanent or insurmountable, they're just part of the journey. If you're dealing with overwhelm and infinite possibilities, I would encourage you to find a way to organize your thoughts. Do some messy stream of thought brainstorming, or make a nice old-fashioned list of what you want to write about. So all of your favorite ideas, themes, characters, plot twists, all of it. Then mix and match to your heart's content. Untangle the knot of possibilities and reweave complementary elements into several new, more coherent stories. You don't have to use every idea all at once. You're allowed to mix it up. If you're dealing with self-doubt or the fear of what other people might think of you, I'd say you're in the right place, because here at the Fearless Fictioneering League, our only goal is to write and have fun writing. We don't need to worry if our writing is important to outside influences, because we succeed just by writing. After you finish each writing prompt that I give you, it's my hope that you will feel warmed up and encouraged to explore the ideas that are more personal to you. I hope that you will be emboldened to write what you're passionate about, regardless of what others might think. Now today I'm going to do something a little different. I'm not going to give you just one writing prompt. We're actually going to work together to create 5 messy, weird, random, individualized writing prompts. I can't wait to see what you come up with, so let me know in the comment section. I'm really curious. And if you don't like any of your writing prompts, feel free to use one of mine. Now, this is the point in the podcast where I show you a little affiliate ad because I'm broke and I want to make more episodes of this podcast. Today, I'm going to share my favorite method that I use to get myself writing, and I call it Pretty Pen Ugly Journal. So, step 1, find a pen that really appeals to you. It could be the design of the pen, it could maybe be some sort of novelty factor, or it could be the color of the ink. These are my top 3 suggestions, and you can find links to all of them in the description of this video and in the pinned comment. An honorable mention goes to this pen that I bought for my brother a couple birthdays ago. The pen is mightier than the sword, and sometimes the pen is a sword. So, Step 2, find the ugliest notebook possible. The uglier the better. Here are a few options. If you get a fancy leather-bound notebook, you're going to feel like you can only fill it with the prettiest of prose and the deepest thoughts, which can be a really daunting and unreachable expectation for first drafts and brainstorms and things like that. A great big thank you to anyone who shops through my affiliate links. Thank you for supporting the podcast. Okay, I hope you're ready to let your creativity out to play. Today you'll need a piece of paper, something to write with, a few quiet minutes to yourself, and maybe a pair of scissors if you're feeling adventurous. Let's start by brainstorming some characters. So you might be tempted to say, a young girl, but I don't want you to stop there. I want you to include at least one physical description or personal detail. So instead of a young girl, you could possibly say, a freckled young woman who is scared of birds. So just something that adds a little texture to your character. Another example would be a grumpy elderly man dressed in a pinstripe suit. Just really try to see the character in your mind's eye. You could do a curly-haired librarian who always loses her glasses. Something like that. So I'll give you 2 minutes and some mood music to brainstorm 5 characters. Next up, we're going to explore setting. So I want you to try to be specific here. Try not to be too vague. So include time and place if possible. Don't stop at just plain old library. Instead, try a library in a private school at midnight. If your setting is outside, think about atmosphere and weather. So don't stop at a lake. Instead, try a lake at midday, frozen around the edges with a chilly fog creeping in. Try to cement in some interesting details that really make the place feel like an actual place. If you're using a well-known real-world location, try visiting it 10 years in the future or 20 years in the past, just for a little bit of an extra challenge. I'm going to give you 1 minute to brainstorm 5 settings because I want you to think of familiar places that are vivid in your mind's eye. So a little bit shorter time. Last, but definitely not least, is conflict, or maybe a minor personal problem. So this tends to be a hard to access area for me because I'm naturally non-confrontational, and that sometimes transfers to my characters. I just want them to be happy. But it can be very boring for writers and readers if your characters always get everything they want and need too easily. So let's rain down problems on their heads. Big or small, it doesn't matter. But for our purposes today, you should focus on problems that are deliberately vague and can happen anywhere. For instance, you can't mess up a heist next to a frozen lake. Or can you? I guess it's up to your creativity, right? So it's completely up to you, but if you want to go easy on yourself, choose something like forgot something important at home, or unexpectedly meets their nemesis, or something like an allergy attack. Okay? I'm going to give you 2 minutes to brainstorm 5 conflicts or personal problems. Now it's time to put it all together. So if you wrote your ideas on paper and you're feeling adventurous, cut each element out and separate them into 3 piles: character, setting, conflict, and then randomly match them up. If you want a little bit more control, take some time to match each element up in a way that makes the most sense to you. And if you get a combo that doesn't make sense, feel free to make any necessary changes or simply take it as a little bit of an added challenge to make it make sense. And finally, pick your favorite combo, the one that gives you the most inspiration, the one that tickles your creative instincts, and that will be your writing prompt for today. And maybe if you like your other writing prompts, keep them somewhere safe so you can use them for other writing sessions. In case you're curious, my favorite writing prompt that I generated for this podcast episode goes a little something like this. A gleeful Girl Scout struggling to carry or drag a large, heavy bag in a treehouse with a broken rope ladder at sunset accidentally took something that doesn't belong to her. So you see, we have character, we have setting, we have problem. If you're curious about my other writing prompts that I generated, check out the pinned comment for this video. They're going to be right there in case you need a little extra inspiration. And you can definitely use any of these if you don't like the prompts that you generated. Amateur Fictioneers, write for at least 30 minutes. Fearless Fictioneers, share your favorite prompt with me in the comments section or tell me what you love about writing. Then write for as long as it takes. And everybody, remember to have fun with it. Thank you for joining me today, my lovely, lovely Fictioneers. I'm so glad we could spend some time together today, and I can't wait to talk to you again next week. Same day, same channel, same time. Now go make the blank page tremble with fear.